Hello and welcome to the Ice Guys. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a betting perspective. With pro sports handicappers, Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and various guests from the world of hockey and sports betting. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys, Wednesday, December 17th. Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and Perlo are with you on this Wednesday. We've got 5 games, which is not bad as far as quantity is concerned for a Wednesday, but we will be forthright with you right off the hop. It's a very tricky board here for this Wednesday NHL slate, and that's putting it mildly, but we'll try to find a few winners here. But like I said, you got a lot of situations where teams are in unique spots, coming off road trips on back-to-backs. Just lots going on here. Pricing not being what you want for teams you want to back. So it's a lot of that going on today, but we will give you all the recommendations and insight we have for you at our disposal for the 5 games coming up. Before we get to that, we want to thank everybody for a great, fun Betcast. Once again, last night was really, really good stuff overall. We had a couple of, I'll tell you what, overall with the Betcast, it started out really great. We had a bunch of early winners live as the Betcast started. We went through a little dry spell with the late games, but we did wrap up with that nice SGP hit with the Avs point parlay. Well, that was nice to hit that for plus 350. We had a live draw with Anaheim Columbus. So, like I said, still a pretty good overall Betcast. Up and down with the pregame bets last night as far as results go. But overall, the great experience it was with all our great viewers and listeners of the show. So we thank you for joining us on that Betcast. And a reminder, too, that's the last Betcast of this year. We got tons more where that came from January and beyond as far as live Betcasts. We'll keep going with our regular once per month free-for-all Betcast. Multiple Patreon exclusive live Betcasts will be coming your way starting in January. So we look forward to that. Another reason to get on board, patreon.com/iceguys if you aren't already. Just going to breeze through the recap here. Solid win for Boston, 4-1, beating the Utah Mammoth in that game, ending the little run that the Utah Mammoth had put together. Bruins bounced back from a tough game against Minnesota, a bounce back for Jeremy Swayman as well. Not had a great month of December, but was certainly better in victory last night. Detroit 3-2 against the Islanders. I give Detroit credit. Brutal spot coming off a very long road trip, and they were sluggish to begin. Alex had the best bet with Islanders first goal, first period. I was on that, as well as the first period money line with the Islanders. I did have the full game as well, a bit smaller, but the Islanders not able to hang on to the victory last night as the Detroit Red Wings come back and get a 3-2 win. I got to say, all things considered, given coming off the road trip, pretty impressive by the Red Wings. Another solid outing for John Gibson in between the pipes as well. Philly 4-1 over the Montreal Canadiens, and after his debut win, Jacob Fowler's now dropped each of his last 2 starts. So not the savior people thought. Remember, this is a young kid. You got to be patient. You got to realize he's not going to just all of a sudden, carry this team on his back. You got to have the other team, the rest of the team playing well. You got to be sound defensively. You got to give them offensive support. And as far as defensive ability, again, breakdowns last night at times for Montreal. And again, not enough goal scoring support. It doesn't matter if Patrick Waugh's in net for the Montreal Canadiens. You score 1 goal, you're going to have a hard time winning. The Flyers get a 4-1 win there in that game. Same old shit for the Rangers. Another home loss, 3-0. They get blanked by the Vancouver Canucks. It's now 2-0 for Vancouver with the new faces in the lineup post-Quinn Hughes trade. Give the Canucks credit for a nice win there in that game. Columbus hangs on to beat Anaheim 4-3. That was a pretty good game. So was the Vancouver game because we had the Canucks money line. I probably wish I had bet that more than I did, but like I said, we still get that in the win column. We had the over in the Anaheim-Columbus game. We had Columbus first goal, first period. Alex did as well, which was another one we liked. Maybe that Columbus could pounce on the Anaheim Ducks coming in on a back-to-back after beating the New York Rangers the night before. And the Jackets get really a much-needed win. They needed to see 2 points go on the board, and the Jackets were able to last night with a nice 4-3 win against Anaheim. Joe Bowen night in Toronto. Boy, it began poorly for the home team, really poorly. That was an awful first period for the Toronto Maple Leafs, down 2-0. Gave up a short-handed goal in the process. Jason Dickinson, a bargain bin special. for Alex after he had a goal taken away from him. He got that right back a few minutes later. But as bad as the first period was for Toronto, third period was as bad, if not worse, for Chicago. Oh my goodness, I couldn't believe really what I was seeing there. But 2-1, Ekman-Larsson opens the door for the Leafs. A tying goal from Austin Matthews, a brutal turnover. Actually, it was just Mikheyev had his pocket picked. That's what happened. Matthews with the theft, and then a roof shot over Spencer Knight, 2-2 to tie the game. And then the next part's inexcusable. Can't happen. You can't be asleep knowing that the team's got all the momentum, Toronto, at home. The crowd's finally into it and making noise, which is a rarity at times at Scotiabank. And then Chicago's asleep on the opening faceoff at center ice after the 2-2 goal. You get beat cleanly into the zone on a simple dump in. How does Dakota Joshua race down, of all people, and beat everyone to the puck, including Crevier, the last man standing on defense? That can't happen. And obviously it was a quick shot. He didn't hesitate. I think it kind of deceived and fooled Knight. He'd like Knight to stop that, but it was a quick shot. I blame the Donies around him more than Spencer Knight on that one. And like I said, that's just inexcusable. That's just falling asleep. That's just not being ready off the drop of the puck. You got to be in that case. You got to have a little feel for the momentum of the game if you're Chicago, knowing this team's feeling it right now. They've just come back to tie it. They're desperate as shit to get 2 points tonight because of the way they've been playing. You can't be asleep in that moment and just get beat like that to the front of the net by Dakota Joshua. Brutal stuff. And Toronto comes all the way back and wins 3-2 last night against the Chicago Blackhawks, rescuing Joe Bowen's big night. A night, beautiful tribute to him. And it looked like they were going to play like a bunch of assholes for the guy last night, Toronto. But they managed to rescue themselves, come back, and get a 3-2 win there against the Chicago Blackhawks last night in that one. This is something to monitor. I hate to, bring it up, but it's not, it's a fact. It's the record is the record. Your record is what your record says you are, they say. Without Connor Bedard, that's now 3-13-1 for Chicago. So, again, this is something that good, you got to work on this. You got to fix it. Yeah. What are you going to do? Woe is me. We're just going to struggle and lose now without Connor Bedard. You got to find ways to get the job. And that was a winnable hockey game, Alex, last night. Before I continue, I'll throw it to you since we're on this. That's a game you got to at the very least, get to overtime and get 1 point out of that, especially with the way you play the first two periods. That's a terrible regulation loss for the Hawks last night.
And it's another collapse in a period. We've been seeing this mostly in the second period with the Hawks, but to see this in the third period is even more distressing. And like I said, against a team that's been reeling, like Toronto, you were playing so well at both ends of the ice, and then to start playing sloppy in the back end is what's the issue. And like I said, you got these defensemen who, yes, they are playing top line minutes for the first time. You've got young guys back there. Like I said, there's no excuse for Louis Crevier to not be ready, getting beat by Dakota Joshua. There's no reason for Spencer Knight to not be set and ready off of that draw either after the goal that he gave up. Like I said, you cannot afford to have these kinds of mental lapses. And these are against teams, like I said, quality teams that you were beating. Okay, quality teams that you were playing, that you've played well against. I think about the Anaheim game. You beat Anaheim at home, and then you no-show in that next game on the road. You're beating Toronto, dominating them for the first 30, 35 minutes of play, and then you let the tide turn. You cannot afford to have this happen. And Connor Bedard being on ice, that's not the issue. Yes, that's a horrible record without him, but we saw a team with Bedard scoring, still blowing these chances and having these moments, these lapses in judgment defensively and with the puck. And it's just, you cannot have that. You cannot have that. And at some point you have to start looking at Blashill and the coaching staff as well. Saying the coaches are now getting on these players, during practice, saying that, having to stop practice to get guys focused. So there's some kind of disconnect going on right now with these young guys, and they need to get it together. You cannot afford to have this happen if you're trying to progress forward and you feel like you could be a team that can push and compete in this division down the stretch. You're looking like this is the same old shit we saw with Luke Richardson and with Anders Sorensen during his tenure. These gaps of where you guys just aren't giving a fuck and aren't playing hard enough when you have a lead. It's just unacceptable.
Yeah, got to dig in. They did not do that well enough last night toward the end of that third period for sure. The latter games, well, we said Skinner and we all convinced ourselves that Skinner versus Jari in the Edmonton-Pittsburgh game would mean advantage for the teams shooting against them, and that's the players shooting against them, and it turned out that way. 6-4, 10 goals. Edmonton gets the victory. That's now 2-0 as a starter for Tristan Jari now with the Edmonton Oilers. That was an over, so good to hit that. We did lose Pittsburgh first goal, first period there, but the over made up for that. Very disappointing here. I mean, if Washington has any push whatsoever last night, we cashed the best bet over in the Washington-Minnesota game, but they just didn't have much overall. And it's a 5-0 win there for the Minnesota Wild last night. They looked damn impressive again. Tarasenko, it was the Tarasenko show last night. 2 goals and an assist. Where did that come from? Now, could they get that more consistently from him is the question. Yurov, Kaprizov, a beautiful short-handed goal by Boldy, and just another really strong performance by Minnesota. They're 2-0 with Quinn Hughes. Colorado beat Seattle 5-3. Wasn't easy last night. San Jose 6-3 against Calgary. Give them credit for that, because I'll tell you what, that was a brutal comeback home spot off a long road trip flying east to west for San Jose, and they scored early. And they led start to finish, beating Calgary 6-3. Can't say enough about how impressive that was for the Sharks. And going back to that Seattle loss, I actually did think they played hard, a little bit better last night, but still wasn't good enough to win. I posted it in our group chat that this can't be happening. You cannot have one person allowed to ask a coach questions in a post-game press conference, and last night that was the case with Seattle. Lane Lambert's post-game press conference, a team employee was the only person allowed to ask him questions after the game. None of the local Seattle radio people, TV people, newspaper people, beat writers, reporters, none of them were able to ask questions of Lambert after the game. Only a stuck in there, planted in there employee of the team. That's a disgrace. Can't happen. The media is there to do their job and to report on the team on behalf of the fans and the people in the city. Okay, they have to be allowed to do their jobs properly and ask the coach questions after the post game. And to me, that's a bad look, terrible look for the Seattle Kraken last night. Seeing that, be better, unacceptable. That just shouldn't happen. Anything else, Alex, you want to add about last night?
I said an awful lot about what's going on with the Kraken. I mean, listen, you're an expansion team. You're struggling. That's okay. Like, who's really going to jump down their throats like they're the fucking Oilers or Leafs and like they're supposed to be some kind of cup contender? For you to be, shattering media like this already, that tells you that means something may be going on. That would be I would where there's smoke, where there's fire, right?
Scared is what it does. Yeah, it does, no doubt. Perlo, welcome in. Your thoughts on last night?
Well, first of all, the Betcast was awesome like usual. It was tons of fun. Everybody should get part of that for sure. You don't want to be missing any of them. Become a Patreon member because it's good times, my friend. I got a few things. I thought that was an impressive win by the Bruins. That was in a good spot. Like, you got to really start giving this team some respect. Like, not start. I already have, but they just keep on going and going and going here. That was really not a good spot for them, and it was a bad loss for the Mammoth, which shouldn't come to any surprise anymore with the Mammoth. But still, Bruins keep on going. That was a good win for them. As far as the Hawks, it's a green team, man. It's just green. It's a very green team, and you get in. It takes time to learn what to do in these spots. You're in Toronto. There's a lot of pressure there, and these green guys, these young players can get nervous, and their head starts not focusing correctly, and things happen that way. It's not the only team that's happening to. San Jose's had, will have that. Look at the Canadians this year. You're starting to see what happens when teams realize you're good now. Back last year when everybody going into Barnes, we're like, it's just Canadians haven't made the playoffs in 5 years. Now it's a different story. Now you got to learn how to play defense. Now you got to play real hockey, and you see what happens. They struggle, and Blackhawks are going to get bumps on that. I wouldn't be putting too much pressure on it, but you work on it every day, and I imagine they will get better over time. But, I mean, you got a lot of green defensemen there. You got a lot of green forwards. And it takes time to learn how to win in these high pressure situations and stuff like that. That's why you don't see young teams winning cups too often. That's why veterans are important to have on your team. So it's going to take some time with them. As far as I'll tell you what, that Islanders loss is brutal. That's brutal. You can't lose in that spot. And I'm going to be that you can't lose in that spot. Red Wings were in a terrible spot. That was nowhere near enough effort against a Red Wings team. And kudos to the Red Wings for winning it. They're on a roll right now, and I'm happy because I took them to make the playoffs at plus 220, so that's great. But you can't lose in that spot. I know you're short guys or whatever the case may be, but effort was all you needed to do in that game for the most part. And I didn't see it. Not a consistent effort against what should have been a very tired team. So that was a bad loss. I will see what happens down the road here with the Islanders now without Horvat. Maybe he's their spiritual leader that got them up and going, but they got to make some adjustments because you can't be losing in that spot. I had the Canucks last night, and just talk to Massey if you want. Go at him. He'll tell you all about it. He can tell you a lot better than I can. That Rangers team is an absolute disaster. You got how many coaches do you need to go through? What do you need to do anything to get that Rangers team focused and doing something? I don't know. I don't know what the answer is anymore. On paper, they're not very good anyways. So you take away the desire and everything out of that team and just miss the playoffs. That's what you're going to do. Hopefully get a player. I have no answers to how a guy like Zibanejad can miss a practice and get one shot on goal the next game. It's horrible character on that team. I know one thing. What you don't do is you don't get rid of a bunch of guys that everybody loves and then make captain a guy who hasn't been on the team forever. I thought that was a terrible move, making Miller captain. What a brutal idea. Now, if you're going to do that, start trading and change the whole team. And that's maybe what they're planning on doing here. Panarin's gone. Maybe they want to redo the whole thing. You better, because if you're in that room, you love Trouba, you love Kreider, and then you make this guy captain that just showed up yesterday. Terrible, terrible decisions here. So maybe their plan is to do that, but we'll see. Blue Jackets had team total over in the over and everything. Great effort by the Ducks. Man, you got to keep on loving this team over like all the time. Quinville's just an amazing guy for getting this is a young team here, and they're a little more experienced, but he got this team believing in themselves and what they're going to do in the. I don't think you're going to see a drop off at that team. That you're winning in spots like this. Are not winning, but getting a draw in spots like this is like a win, is what I mean to say. That was a great effort by them. Excellent against a Blue Jackets team that's kind of struggling, but it doesn't matter. In that spot, it was a great spot. And then the Oilers and the Penguins, we all had the over on that game. Probably should have been best bet for everybody. Skinner, I think that was a tough spot. Come off the plane. Haven't played behind that defense and all that. I'm going to give him a little bit of grace on that. But it's decent win for the Oilers. I think you'll see more of that now that they have a better scheduling spot. I feel for Skinner in this spot. He really was treated poorly. But on the same note, I've heard rumors that they weren't too happy with him. The players were either. So if that's the case, maybe they took it out last night. But decent win for the Oilers. Penguins struggling. Penguins are not doing anything that we ever thought they were going to be in the beginning of the season. We're just seeing normal regression here. You couldn't keep that up forever. I don't think it's going to change. Penguins got to be a fade for a while, and we'll see what happens at the deadline.
There was a noticeable dip in Pittsburgh last night. I noticed it. It's like those collapses just, really did a number on them, and you could tell last night, they didn't have that same jump like they did to start Utah
late
game.
Dennis Green.
Yeah.
They are who we thought they were.
They are who we thought they were.
Yeah.
And maybe you'll still get your bet, Alex.
Yeah.
You'll never know.
They're also an over machine right now because they can't stop anybody from putting the puck in the net right now.
I don't know how they were doing it to begin with. Their defense is just absolutely diabolical. Witherspoon and all the guys on there. I mean, they were working hard, but
I'm telling you tomorrow, even though Ottawa's coming back off a mini road trip, I'm interested in Ottawa team total over tomorrow night against Pittsburgh in that game for Thursday. Mm-hmm. All right, before we get to Thursday, though, we have to take care of Wednesday, even though this is not a glamorous card. We got LA and Florida. Florida minus 145 home favorites, 5.5 the total. Here in this one with the Kings and the Panthers. My first thought is Forsberg-Tarasov goaltending matchup, which we're going to see here. Makes me want to take a cheap over at 5.5 here. But this is the LA Kings offense who can make anybody look better in net than they should, including Tarasov. And to be fair to Tarasov, he hasn't been that bad, quite honestly, for the Florida Panthers, backing up Sergei Bobrovsky. The numbers really aren't that bad for him. Overall. And when you look at what we're seeing from LA right now from an offensive standpoint, 1-1-2 in their last 3 games, that's not lighting it up on offense. 2 goals or less in 3 straight games. This is a tough spot for Florida. There's no question. So I'm not that bullish on laying minus 145 with Florida. I will bet them live if they get behind, though, 100%, because I don't trust the Kings to close out a game right now. So if I get plus money in game, I might look at Florida. Nothing pregame, lean over, but I'm going to leave this one alone. This is normally a spot where I'd be taking LA because this is a tough one for Florida. Pretty good road trip, pretty successful one, and you wrapped it up with a win against a rival, a team you have a lot of dislike for, the Tampa Bay Lightning, in convincing fashion. But this is tricky back home after that. It's just I do not. So normally I would fade Florida in a spot like this. Not with LA, though. I can't do it. LA is a mess right now. This will be an in-game type of bet for me if I get involved. Alex, what do you think here? LA, Florida.
So I teased it on Twitter. I do not have a side. I do not have a total. I do not have a draw on any of the 5 games in tonight's card. I think this card is absolute dog shit. But what I do have are bets on player props. And I will mention, too, shout out to Mikey Glovesave, who's in the chat, who also posted a video talking about how draws have changed. I will give you all the listings of what the draw prices are at different shops. For example, right now at this game, Kings in Florida at Caesars, you can get the straight draw at plus 310. You can get game to go overtime, yes, plus 340. Game to go to a shootout at 10-1. So if you're looking to shop around, Caesars is your best price as far as getting the yes prop. If you like the draw here, you can also get 10-1 for the game to go to a shootout. I'll mention that with all these other games. But the goal prop that I like here, and it is with LA, it's Andrei Kuzmenko moving up to the top line. You can get him at FanDuel at plus 330. That's my one bet for this game.
There we go. Good stuff. Perlo, Kings, Panthers.
Well, the way I look at this game is who do I trust to be prepared for this game? Do I trust the Florida Panthers or the LA Kings? And I know it's a tough spot for Florida, but they have their mojo going. And, LA is just playing ass. And Maurice, I know I'd have to see the stats in Florida, but I think it's pretty good. And I know in Winnipeg, first games off of road trips, he had a really good record. So I do like Florida in here. I don't like the price, but I know what I would be doing if I'm in here, and I think Paul Maurice will be doing too. LA is just collapsing around their goaltender. I think with Forsberg there, that's pretty much the same thing they're going to do. I don't think Florida is going to want to fight here, but I do think they're going to shoot. And if they're going to do that, I would just be slamming it. I would tell my guys, just stay in behind as they collapse, and we're just going to shoot pucks at their ankles all game, at least for the first period anyways. Shoot at them, shoot at them, shoot at them. These guys have been blocking shots like a son of a bitch in LA, and I don't think it's going to change here. Soften them up, and then we'll see what we can do in the second period. Probably won't have our legs in the first, just get it back to the point and shoot. And I think that's what's going to happen. And because of that, I'm going to take Anderson over blocks, Mikey Anderson over blocks. He's been going over blocks already, and I think he will see a lot of rubber himself here. So I'm taking him over blocks. Rodriguez has been shooting a lot. I'm going to him again. I like Lundell for a goal again. The guy's just been hot as hell, so I'm going to go back to that. And one thing that LA seems to be able to do is go over in second periods. And I kind of like the over here as well. So, and they're both good second period over teams. So I'm going over second period, a little bit on the draw, and that prop that and those props I said. Also Clark over 1.5 blocks is minus 115. Going to go heavier on the block shots thing. I think Panthers are going to shoot a ton. They're going to block them, and eventually Panthers will win this game. I have a little X beside Panthers team total over 3, but it's minus 135. I don't think I'll get to it.
There you go. All right. I agree with Lundell. Lundell's definitely, especially still getting north of plus 300 for him to find the back of the net. You got to take that to back-to-back games with a goal for him. Brad Marchand scored in 2 straight games. Kuzmenko scored last game for the Kings. Reinhart for Hagee as well. So those are a couple of props I'd be looking at as far as Florida is and LA is concerned here. Like I said, even Lusterinen as well on that line, getting more of an opportunity. It's tough with the Kings. Nobody's scoring right now, but it appears like we might see Alex Laferriere once again with Kopitar and Kempe. A little bit of a change here as far as the lines here for LA. So maybe if Laferriere is on that top line, there's definitely some value. All right, Utah, Detroit. We've got Detroit minus 125 home favorite, 6.5 the total in this game. This game was initially going to be a pass for me again, because like I've mentioned, I don't love this card. Just simply because you got Detroit. That was the spot to maybe fade them last night. But they came back. They beat the Islanders 3-2. That being said, they started sluggishly and slowly. And they come back to win last night, and they're playing again. And you know you're going to get the inferior of their 2 netminders right now in this game tonight, and that's Cam Talbot, who's likely going to start. Karel Vejmelka should start for Utah because we saw Vitek Vanacek last night. The more I thought about it, the more I talked myself into the Utah first period looks tonight. Utah first goal of first period, Utah first period money line. I like that. You got Detroit off a comeback win, and now a second straight home game, now in a row, following that long-ass road trip. I could see another sluggish, slow out of the gate start potentially here for this Detroit Red Wings team. Not to mention, as I said, Talbot's recent form has not been great, has not been stellar by any stretch of the imagination. And you counter that with Utah coming in off a frustrating loss last night to the Boston Bruins 4-1. I think they come in here, and obviously the team off a loss, maybe more urgency out of the gate. The team off a comeback win on top of the heels of a very strong road trip, maybe not so much urgency early in the hockey game for the Detroit Red Wings. So I've talked myself into those 2 looks here. Utah first goal, first period, and first period money line. I will stay off Utah winning the game because we have seen this Detroit team be resilient for 60 minutes in a lot of these games lately, but I do like Utah early here tonight in this one. Alex, what do you think here, Utah, Detroit?
So I do have Utah first goal, first period, plus 130. And I had that tied with Nick Schmaltz. I like him anytime goal, plus 225. But I take a small shot with him first goal, get 16-1 with that as well. And also like John Leonard anytime goal scorer for Detroit.
All right, there you go. Yeah, John Leonard will sprinkle on John Leonard. We'll keep going to the well with John Leonard till he gets one, but it's still a pretty good price. He's still on the second line as well for the Detroit Red Wings. So, like I said, I like taking the shot there once again with him there. Barrett Hayton, he hasn't been scoring consistently, but he did last night. So I always feel like when someone scores a goal and maybe gets them going a bit, so maybe a Hayton prop. And, of course, it goes without saying how good Gunther's been. So hard to maybe not look toward him for a goal prop tonight. Perlo, anything you're liking here? Mammoth Red Wings.
Yeah, I'm with you on the first goal. Also, Detroit wakes up in the second period a lot. It's not my favorite play because this is really a tough spot. This is another one that if Utah doesn't win this is a terrible, terrible scheduling spot for Detroit. Like Utah should be winning this game, no doubt about that. But I think I'm going to do the Perlo special. I'm going to take Utah in the first and Detroit in the second. Utah's not a very good second period team. Detroit is. You can get that at plus 125. So I like that. I also like Hayton as well, but I like him over shots. I don't really trust him to score. He has been going over shots pretty consistently ever since he was benched there a couple days ago or a couple games ago. So I like that. Schmaltz is from Madison, Wisconsin. And I talked about this with Danielson when I picked him. He's close enough to Detroit to have his family there. And he's close enough to Chicago to be a big Chicago fan and hate Detroit. So I do like that play as well. Schmaltz for a goal. And besides that, I got a little bit on the draw and Gunsel to score the overtime goal.
You go. Good stuff there with the Utah Detroit. All right. This is a TNT game, by the way, and the updated numbers with the over binge that we've seen on TNT games is now 11-2 in the last 13, and overall for the season, 15-8-1, 15-8-1 to the over. NHL on TNT games this season, including a current 11-2 run to the over in the last 13 NHL. I don't love the over in this game, though. I'll be honest. I don't, especially at 6.5. All right. This I do like the over in. Carolina and Nashville. We've got Carolina minus 180 road favorites, 6 the total in this game. I got in overnight at 5.5. I mentioned this right on the Betcast last night. I'm going to be taking the 5.5s that are out there, and there are still a couple 5.5s here. Minus 130 at DraftKings, minus 134 at FanDuel. I like over 5.5 here. Nashville on a 9-2 over run. 9 of their last 10 games have had at least 6 goals, which is very significant when you're talking about 5.5 being the total here for this game. They found their offense for sure of late, this Predators team, which has been pretty amazing to see considering how much of a grind it was early in the year to find offense. Not now. They are scoring goals in bunches. Forsberg's heating up. Stamkos has been good lately. They've been the guys that have been the catalysts for that. Michael Bunting has been pretty good lately for the Nashville Predators. So all these guys are chipping in. We were waiting to see who was going to be in net. Basically, as far as Carolina's goaltending musical chairs, the thing that would give me the most fear about this over would be Brandon Bussey in net because he's been great. He's been their best goalie of late. But he is not starting. Pyotr Kochetkov is starting. He's probably in the middle, where I think the over's got a little better chance with Kochetkov in net. I was really hoping for Freddie Anderson, but Rod Brindamore continues to stay away from him and his struggles throughout the course of the season. So it's Pyotr Kochetkov tonight. We expect UC Saros for Nashville, who has been up and down pretty much throughout the course of the season. But this is more just banking on, two teams that are in good form. Nashville's scoring. Carolina, they've scored 3+ goals in 5 of the last 6 games as well. So they've been putting the puck in the net as well. 7-3 run to the over in the last 10 meetings. Hurricanes versus Predators as well. So over 5.5 it is for me. Alex, what do you think? Carolina, Nashville.
So all over Steven Stamkos, who's damn near bargain bin price worth FC plus 290s. He's just a little short of that range, but taking Steven Stamkos anytime goal scorer, and also Logan Stankoven as well for Carolina.
All right, good stuff indeed. I lean Predators a little bit, but like I said, it is a good price. They're playing well, and at least you're not facing Bussey tonight, who has just been damn near unbeatable lately for the Carolina Hurricanes. So I might put some pizza money on Nashville at the +1. I'm seeing as high as +155 here with Nashville. So still a pretty good price right now. We'll see how it goes. And Pyotr Kochetkov is still right now looking to get his form back to where he's hoping it can get to, because it hasn't been there yet since he's been back. He's made 2 starts, and Jonathan's got it right there. 3 goals and 4 goals in the 2 starts. 7 goals combined allowed by Kochetkov in the last 2 starts. So, like I said, we still think he's a good goalie. His ceiling is very high, but still going to need a little bit of time, I think, to get that form back to where he needs it and he wants it to be. What do you think here, Perlo, Carolina, Nashville?
I'm on the same as you are. The over 5.5 is the best bet here. I like Jarvis over shots. He's been flying over his shot totals, and Evangelista has been shooting a lot, but really it's just the over here. I am going to keep on riding with. I've been on Nashville, so I'm just going to keep on going and, like you said, throw some pizza money on it. Seems like a pretty good spot. they hate Carolina for some reason, and they play hard against them. So I'll take a little bit on that. Forsberg's been going over his shots. He's always a good guy to take for shots, but over and a little bit on Nashville. So maybe think if you like Nashville, maybe team total over. They've been going over like crazy. And like you said, Kochetkov has been allowing goals. So I don't mind the Nashville team total over split, possibly a little bit.
Yeah, there's a few props I like here in this game. Michael Bunting on the Nashville side, I think it's definitely worth a shot with him. He scored in 3 of the last 5 of the last 10. Certainly been heating up. He scored before against Carolina head-to-head. So all those type of numbers that we're seeing point to maybe Michael Bunting making an offensive contribution here tonight. Like we've talked about, Stamkos has been in better form. They've gotten Evangelista chipping in. Forsberg's heating up. So that's why all of a sudden Nashville starting to put the puck in the net with a little bit more regularity for them as of late. So those are definitely some props on their side that I would be interested in. Taylor Hall's streaky, and Taylor Hall did score last game for Carolina. So sometimes he can get on a bit of a short-term heater. So maybe a Taylor Hall a goal prop for me. I might take a look at that as well. You're certainly getting a pretty good price on that. All right, Winnipeg, St. Louis. We've got Winnipeg minus 140. Road favorites. The total here sitting at 5.5 across the board. This is one of those spots where, Jets off a loss. They're the better team anyway. St. Louis can't get out of their own way. I'm kind of interested here in the Winnipeg Jets, but I don't love the price. You know what I mean? Minus 140 on the road pregame is not really that satisfactory with Winnipeg. So my thought is, and I'll say this about the Blues. They obviously lost to Nashville. Before that, they had scored the first goal in the previous 2 home games against Chicago, and then the game before that against, I believe it was Boston. Even though they lost that game, they did score the first goal. So there might be an opportunity to get Winnipeg trailing at some point in this game. And if that's the case, we might look at Winnipeg as far as a live bet or the draw live. I might be interested in at that point. Logan Stanley, certainly Jonathan mentioned it in our group chat. You have to take him now. You just have to. Pretty much to score a goal. I mean, there's no rhyme or reason. There is actually a little bit of a rhyme or reason to it. He's shooting the puck more. He feels like he's got a little bit more confidence with the puck lately. This big, tall giraffe-looking defenseman, as I like to say, Logan Stanley. He is. He looks like a big giraffe out there. It gives me Zdeno Chara vibes, except not nearly as nasty. He can play physical, but not nearly with that, crazy, intense physicality like Chara. But he's got some of those Chara elements in his game. And remember, Chara could shoot the puck pretty decently too, and now he's starting to get the shot going a bit, Logan Stanley. He scored in back-to-back games for Winnipeg, and you can get him north of 22-1, plus 2,200, to score a goal tonight in this game for the Winnipeg Jets. So it's like one of those, you hope you're not a day late and a dollar short. You hope you're not late to the party. But when you see this defenseman scoring in back-to-back games and the price is as high as plus 2,200, for him to score tonight, you definitely have to take a look. Certainly when it comes to Logan Stanley here tonight for the Winnipeg Jets in this game. A couple other props too, as far as I'm concerned. Velarde, we've talked about him. Iafallo's been good lately for Winnipeg. For St. Louis, I'm gonna Fabry is up on the top line with Thomas and Buchnevich. Montgomery's talked about how he's given them a spark. So I might go with a Robbie Fabry for St. Louis. And there's 2 new St. Louis Blues entering the lineup tonight. Former Red Wing, Jonathan Berggren, is going to play tonight for St. Louis. And Otto Stenberg is also going to make his first appearance tonight for the St. Louis Blues. So if you're into that first game, getting in the lineup, getting on the board, making an impact angle, there's the 2 you might look at. Maybe Berggren, Otto Stenberg here tonight for the St. Louis Blues. I'll probably put a couple bucks on both of them. Alex, what do you think here? Winnipeg, St. Louis.
I got one play, and it's my bargain bin for tonight, so I'll talk about it a little bit later.
There we go. All right, Perlo, Jets, Blues.
These are actually really good first period over teams. I got a little bit on the first period over here, minus 110. I could see Jets coming out hard here. Like you said, St. Louis has been scoring in the first period. So I'm going to put it's just a good price, and they do go over quite a bit. So, and I actually have a little bit on the over for the game here. You wouldn't think with these 2 teams, you think slow and veterans, but when you get 2 teams that are that, it equals it out, and they have a tendency to play fast as they can against each other, and you end up seeing overs. Not to mention, we're about to see what if Hellebuyck still is having road issues before his injury there. I wonder if that's still going to happen here. So, Hofer, I know somebody said in the chat his analytics are good. His analytics are good because he's getting a whole crap load of shots. he's still allowing them in. But yeah, St. Louis has been giving up a lot of goals. So these are just small bets. It's not my favorite. My biggest bet on here, though, is Morrissey over 1.5 shots. He's flying over this total. And I think with St. Louis, how many shots they've been giving up, I think he'll probably get over that fairly easy. I also went back to Perfetti over shots and an assist. And I got a bargain bin in this too. So I'll talk about that later.
Yeah, no doubt. Like I said, that's like all the price, the situation too. Like it is the first time the Blues are playing the Jets since the playoff loss, the 7-game series loss to the Jets, and that was a heartbreaker for the Blues. They were going to dispatch Winnipeg in that 7th game, and then of course they somehow tied it in the dying seconds, and then would go on to win it in overtime of Game 7. So that might fuel them a little bit. That's always the fear, but it's a bad hockey team right now. I still would only back the Winnipeg Jets here in this game at this point in time. Plus, there's still no Holloway, no Kyrou, no Snuggerud. There's still a bunch of artillery missing for the Blues here in this game tonight as well. All right, next up, we've got the final game. This is the other TNT game here tonight, New Jersey and Vegas. We've got Vegas. Actually, whoa, there's been some big movement here. This was minus 200 or north of that initially for Vegas. Now we're talking minus 160. Tons of Devils money. There's got to be some injury issues. I think that's probably what it is, because I did notice it was a banged up Vegas team on the injury report, but now they are just minus 160 home favorites, 5.5 the total in this game. Yeah, I'm seeing it now. Wow. They are a bit banged up. Obviously, the Jack Eichel is not playing tonight. That's what's doing it. I'll tell you right now, people, the betting markets, Joe Casual will respond to Jack Eichel being out when they see it, and he is indeed out. He's got an illness, not an injury, but an illness, so he will not play tonight here in this game. Shea Theodore on the back end for Vegas is missing tonight. He won't play for the Golden Knights as well. So it's a couple of injuries here for this Vegas team. He won't play day to day due to an injury for him in this game. Dorofeyev was on the injury list, hurt against Columbus at the end of that road trip. I think he might be good to go. They didn't rule him out, so it looks like Pavel Dorofeyev is going to be out here in this game. It's a flu. It's an illness, too, for Theodore, so clearly we've got an illness running through the team here a little bit. Dorofeyev looks good to go here in this game. I already locked it in. It's too late, so I'll just mention it. The only thing I like really a lot here is the first period over. It's just your typical Vegas home game, first period over. It's been a great bet. Continues to cash more often than not. So I am on that New Jersey, Vegas, first period over here. I mean, with all these injuries now, I get people interested in the Devils did get shut out by Vegas at home in their last game. Will they look for redemption here? That remains to be seen. But here's the issue. I'm seeing Jacob Markstrom starting. I can't get involved with the Devils with that guy right now. Can't do it. Like, Jacob Markstrom's really having a rough go. There's really concerns right now with the way he's played lately. If anything, that's going to help the first period over if Jacob Markstrom's in that. Even without Eichel and Theodore, you got to think Vegas can certainly, make some things happen offensively still, in spite of the loss of Jack Eichel tonight. Looks like it's going to be Dorofeyev's in, and it looks like we got a close shave. Barbashev, Brett Howden, and Braden Bowman top line, potentially. Stone with Hurdle and Marner is what I'm seeing right now for the top 6 tonight for Vegas. So little shift in the lines, obviously, for Bruce Cassidy with the issues. But, first period over has just been money in the bank with Vegas home games. I'm still okay with it, even with the absence of Jack Eichel tonight here in this game. Alex, what do you think here? Devils, Golden Knights.
Yep, the only goal scorer prop I have here is for New Jersey. I grabbed Dawson Mercer. DraftKings has the best price available at plus 320. He is plus 300 at a couple other shops as well to shop around.
Yeah, no doubt. It's a bit of a tricky spot for Vegas, I will say that, because they've been on the road for a little bit. It's not the 6-game road trip. I know maybe New Jersey first goal, first period. I probably will dabble in that now that I see the injury report too. Maybe Devils get on the board early here. Carter Hart, by the way, is confirmed in net for the Vegas Golden Knights tonight. They continue to really go back and forth here. Schmid versus Carter Hart. Although I believe this is the first time Bruce Cassidy has abandoned the alternating of goaltenders, which he's been doing lately between Schmid and Carter Hart, because Carter Hart played against Columbus, which was their last game on Saturday, the end of the road trip. And Carter Hart's confirmed tonight. So he's abandoned the alternating goalies, at least for tonight. He's giving Carter Hart a second straight start. That has not happened. Yeah, Paul Cotter, I'm with you, Robert, on that. 100% Paul Cotter, New Jersey. He's actually been scoring lately for them, and now going back to Vegas against his former team. So I've got no issues with that. Looking at a Paul Cotter goal prop tonight here for this New Jersey Devils team tonight in this game. You know what's funny about the absence of Theodore tonight is that Braden McNabb's going to get even more ice time on the top line. He did score in the last game for Vegas, Braden McNabb against Columbus to end that road trip. That's something worth pointing out going into this game here tonight. So is Braden McNabb worth a sprinkle? Plus 1,800 to find the back of the net? Like, he's going to play a lot now, especially with Shea Theodore out. And he did score against Columbus the last game. And his ice time is going to go up, if anything. Braden McNabb. We were just talking on the Betcast last night how many minutes Braden McNabb's been playing on the blue line for this Vegas team. So, yeah, maybe that's something to take a shot with. All right, Perlo, your thoughts here. Final game, New Jersey, Vegas.
Yeah, I talked about it last night. I was just looking for plays for this game, and I said that over first period seems to be one of the better ones. So I think New Jersey will come out pretty hard here. I actually took a little bit on New Jersey last night at that price, and I'm a spot better. I close my eyes and I'm not a big New Jersey fan either, but if there was a spot for New Jersey to beat the Golden Knights, I'll take that plus money on it and see what happens. A little bit on the draw, dog and draw, and that over first period. And somebody mentioned the chat. Yeah, Braden Bowman over shots, depending on where he is in the lineup. If he's down on the third line, I wouldn't worry about it. And as far as New Jersey is concerned, without Eichel in there, if Eichel's not going to be in there, he sure should be able to have free reign there to get shots and a goal and stuff like that. I like Heischer over shots. It doesn't really have much to compete against there up the middle. So somewhere, so that would be a good play, I would say. You're muted. You're muted.
Ian, you're muted.
There we go. Sorry about that. Yeah. I mean, I don't mind anyone from a spot perspective taking a shot with Jersey here. My problem is Markstrom.
Yeah, my problem too.
I don't know if he's keeping Vegas off the score sheet. What I would say is Devils team total over would be a lot more appealing.
Maybe,
than
that's
money
probably
line.
a good idea too. Yeah.
Than money line. Yeah, exactly. And they're, by the way, they're betting the hell out of this under, and I get it, right? Eichel's a big loss offensively, but I'm talking, we don't see 5.5 shaded to the under very often, and plus money on an over 5.5. I'm tempted by that. I am. And remember, there's a TNT game, so even though there's no Eichel, we know how the TNT games have been going over the total. So I might turn this into a bifecta with the over, but I like the first period over a lot more.
Maybe New Jersey plus 1.5 and over 5 or something like that, if you can get something.
Yeah, or you could do the Alex special. You could really get creative. If you don't fully trust New Jersey to win the game, you could go New Jersey team total over and an over 4.5, or a New Jersey plus 1.5 and an over 4.5 type of thing.
Yeah.
You could go that road as well. Get creative, and obviously that's been an Alex special on the show. The team bet, whether it's money line or puck line, and the over 4.5 as opposed to the 5.5. Alex has gone to that well quite a few times.
Anything you can do to minimize the juice you're laying.
Yeah. Cody Glass repair, Cody Glass replace. I agree. Cody Glass, you're right. Thanks for reminding me. And he scored over the weekend. New Jersey played those back-to-back games against Anaheim and Vancouver. He scored in the Anaheim game for the New Jersey Devils. So yeah, that might be another value-laden prop here on the New Jersey side of things. Again, all the props are included on the Patreon card, so make sure you check out the Patreon page later. Check the Patreon page for the card later today. I'll have all the player props tonight because, like Alex said, I kind of like the player prop card more than I like the sides and the totals tonight in some of these games. So, like I said, we're interested to see if we can get a few more good player prop cashes here tonight on this slate. All right, great stuff. Appreciate everybody joining us. Hit the like button. We appreciate it very much. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Make sure you check out wizardsportspicks.com. Again, great handicappers on the website, great roster. Check it out. It's been a great long-term run. I believe 42-22 for me is the current all-sports streak. So get on board with that. Check out the daily Beyond the Lines videos on the Wizard Sports Picks YouTube channel as well. So check it out. Get on board with Premium Picks Daily at wizardsportspicks.com. Lots going on, NFL, college football, NBA, college basketball, and NHL. So check out wizardsportspicks.com. And check out, of course, patreon.com/iceguys, just $10 per month. Again, we've got lots coming up in the new year, too. More exclusive live betcasts for members only to the Patreon page. All the bonus content, goalie charts, totals charts, our daily betting card, sides, totals, player props posted each and every day on the Patreon page. So get on board. We had a few more signups yesterday. Great to see it. Keep them coming. Like I say, don't miss out. It's great resource every day. Not just the daily betting card. We're posting our wagers every day. But again, the goalie charts, the totals charts, things you can use, resources, tools you can use to be a more successful and proper and profitable NHL bettor. So make sure you check it out. Again, your membership goes a long way to supporting the show and keeping it going long term. $10 per month. Check it out at patreon.com/iceguys.
Also, check out the Ice Guys store, iceguys.myspreadshop.com. You have until midnight tonight to save 25% on all orders $50 or more. This is the time to get anything you want for Christmas. You're going to have to get it express shipping if you want it under the tree in time for the 24th to the 25th. Waited awfully late, but no time like the present. Save until midnight tonight Eastern, 25% off all orders $50 or more. That's at iceguys.myspreadshop.com.
Yep, take advantage. Midnight tonight, that offer expires. So take advantage now over at the Ice Guys store, iceguys.myspreadshop.com. All right, bargain bin special of the night. Best bets coming up right after we hear from our great Ice Guys sponsors.
Wizard Sports Picks, featuring the finest handicappers in the universe. Sharp insights, trusted picks, and relentless results. We strive to help you become consistent winners. This is Wizard Sports Picks.
Kings and queens shop.
Thanks to all our sponsors, including Royal Cannabis. Check them out, royalcannabisshop.com, 20% off with promo code ICEGUYS. All right, bargain bin special of the night for this Wednesday slate. I'm going to give you, after Alex and Perlo, of course, but I have three tonight. Three bargain bins tonight. I couldn't choose between the three. I think they're all good. So we'll give you three bargain bin specials in just a moment. But Alex, as always, we'll start with you. And congrats to the Jason Dickinson, the trooper, last night, getting it done for one of your bargain bin specials. What do you got for us tonight?
Yeah, we'll go with another Central Division team, actually a Central Division showdown, as we have the Winnipeg Jets taking on the St. Louis Blues. And one Jet I like in particular is Gabe Vilardi. I like him to get 2 or more points. You can get that at plus 330 over at FanDuel. That is going to be my bargain bin special tonight. Gabe Vilardi, 2 points or more for the Winnipeg Jets.
Gabe Vilardi, Winnipeg, over 1.5 points for Alex with bargain bin special of the night. Perlo, bargain bin special of the night.
Jeez, I got 3 too. I don't know which ones. I like them all. But I like the draw. I'm going to go to that Leonard kid in Detroit. I like him. He scored like 19 goals in 20 games in the AHL, and I think that's going to be a high-scoring game. I'm going to go with New Jersey. I'm going to go with Cody Glass at plus. I think he'll pot another one. And St. Louis, I want to go with the guys that I said I really love the way they're playing right now. And that kid in St. Louis, Dvorsky, is playing the best hockey he's played so far since he brought up, and I like him at plus 575. So
that's a good one. That's a good one. I didn't mention him, Dalibor Dvorsky, but that's a good one. He has played well for St. Louis of late. No question about that. All right, I mentioned it. I got 3 bargain bin specials tonight. First one, we're going to go down to Sunrise, Kings and Panthers. Give me that Swede. He's red hot right now. Anton Lundell for the Florida Panthers there, plus 330. He's been in great form right now for this Finnish, by the way. Sorry, I don't know why I screwed that up. He's Finnish, not Swedish, but plus 330. Anton Lundell for the Florida Panthers. He's been playing really good hockey. Got on the board against Tampa the other night. So he's the first bargain bin special. Anton Lundell, Florida, plus 330. The second one, we're going to go to Carolina, Nashville. I mentioned him. He's heating up. Michael Bunting at plus 450 for the Nashville Predators. I think he's got a chance to get on the board here tonight for them. So Michael Bunting, plus 450 for Nashville. And the last one will go out west to New Jersey and Vegas. And yes, it is the former Golden Knight, now with New Jersey. Paul Cotter, plus 650. So there you go. I have 3 that I like quite a bit. Anton Lundell, Florida, plus 350. Michael Bunting, Nashville, plus 450. And Paul Cotter, New Jersey, plus 650. There you have it. 3 bargain bin specials for me tonight on this Wednesday slate. All right, best bets. Alex, what do you like for best bet?
It's the only bet I have that is not a player prop. It is Utah Mammoth to score the first goal in the first period, plus 130 tonight against the Detroit Red Wings.
There you go. Good stuff. The first goal, first period, man. Those bets have been good. We'll see if they keep going tonight for Alex with Utah for his best bet. Perlo, best bet.
I always do a prop and a regular. I like Morrissey over 1.5 shots, minus 120. And I got to go with the over in the Nashville game, 5.5. Those are my 2.
Good stuff.
Oh, by the way, check out my show tonight at 10 p.m. I always forget to promote myself.
There you go. You remembered.
I actually remember this time. Rico and Perlo's house of exotic NHL Jaime's picks. 10 p.m. Eastern. We have a lot of fun there. Have a few laughs. Keep the kids away, probably, unless you don't care. And it's very adult. That's why we do it late. And we have a lot. Like I said, we have a lot of fun doing it. So catch me over there. Go at Perlo's NHL POW. You can get my link and everything there.
There you go. Check it out. One of Perlo's best bets is my best bet here for the Wednesday card. I'm on that Carolina Nashville over. I mentioned on the Betcast. It was the one bet that jumped out right away. I think we get to 6. 9 of the last 10 Nashville games have gotten to 6 goals. 7-3 overrun in the series. Carolina Nashville over 5.5, minus 130. For my best bet. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Hit the like button on the way out. And Alex, before we wrap up this show, safe travels to you, of course.
Thank you.
Back to Chicago as you prepare to spend the holidays with mom and, of course, everyone back there in Chicago. So looking forward to that, I'm sure. And Alex will be back likely on Sunday this weekend, the next time we see him on the show. But Alex, any final words here? I know it's only going to be a few days, but you're still going to be away for a few days, and people always ask about you. We want to give you the floor to say some final words before we see you again on Sunday.
Yeah, well, hopefully everyone has a nice few days. Like I said, getting ready for the holiday stuff, so I'll be going home. My plays will be available on Patreon, so I'll have a full card with actual sides and totals for tomorrow, because it should be a much better slate than what we have today. So don't worry about that. Plays will be up on them. So please sign up for Patreon to get my plays on the days in which I am not on the program. But of course, I'll send over best bets and bargain and all that to Ian as well. And like I said, I'll see you guys on Sunday and Monday, coming from my dad's office back home in Chicago.
No doubt. Looking forward to that for sure. Safe travels home for Alex. All right. Reminder, the Ice Guys is live 7 days a week, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, Saturday, Sunday, noon Eastern. If you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and more. Download the Ice Guys podcast when you can't watch the show live. For Alex B. Smith and Perlo, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Wednesday night. Enjoy the games and good luck, and we will see you tomorrow on Thursday, 2 p.m. Eastern, for another edition of the Ice Guys.